Hello and welcome everybody. Today we will show you how to become rich and what are the difference of Rich Dad and Poor Dad based on the book of Robert Kiyosaki.
Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive all our news.
1. Rich people acquire assets. One of the major misconceptions so many have about rich people is that they all inherited their money, but that belief set is completely self-defeating. Look at anyone who is a self-made millionaire, and there is an outstanding chance he or she spent most of their life acquiring assets that generate income. This is the exact opposite of many other people think, embracing the consumer mindset of the media and advertising culture. They instead invest their money in personal possession they believe to be assets. Probably the best example is the family home. Most people think of it as the biggest asset they have and even devote a disproportionate percentage of their income both to acquiring and maintaining it. But even while a house can build value over time, it's not an income generating asset. Quite the opposite. It costs you money to keep it. It's really not an investment until and unless you sell it. Take your cash and invest it in something that will produce income. The majority of middle class homes are heavily financed. They may be understandable when the home was first purchased, but many people engage in equity stripping by taking home equity lines of credit and second mortgage when enough equity builds in the home. Others engage in serial refinancing, consolidating their first and second mortgage or taking cash out every few years. The long-term result is that while the value of the home rises, so does the amount of debt. Other non-income generating assets include cars, recreation equipment, furniture and entertainment equipment, and vacation home. All may feel good to own, but none generate any income. Typical assets acquired by the rich include stocks, bonds, investment funds, income-generating real estate investment trusts, and businesses. What all have in common is that they either have the ability to generate a steady income, increase in value, or both. Over time, the growth in income-generating assets results in a higher income. Eventually, the income being produced by those assets may be sufficient for the owner to live comfortably without having to work anymore. 2. Most people work for money. Rich people have money work for them. This lesson is important, and it's absolutely true. Talk to just about anyone about how to make money, and the conversation will inevitably gravitate toward jobs. That's not wrong thinking either, at least not early in your life. The first step toward building wealth is generating a basic income. If you have no assets and no skills, you can sell to the general public in exchange for money. A job is certainly the most convenient way to produce a cash flow, but the difference between rich people and everyone else is that the rich don't stay in the job phase for a very long time. They realize early that to become rich, they need to become the people who hire others into jobs and not a job holder. By contrast, typically spend our lives in the job phase, and you are trapped once they believe that a job is the only way to earn money. That locks you into working for money for the rest of your life. But the rich learn the virtue of becoming business owners early, and running a business is more than anything else about learning how to leverage resources and people to earn more money than you ever could by exchanging your own labor for a wage. For example, as a business owner, you can gravitate toward your talent, those skills and abilities you have that hold the greatest potential for you to earn big money. Once there, you can either hire others as employees or use subcontractors to do the work that generates the income. Essentially, you become the overseer of the business rather than a frontline worker. As the business becomes more profitable, you invest some of these profits into building your business and increasing your income. 3. It's not how much money you make that matters, it's how much you keep. One of the behaviors that most separate the rich, especially the self-made rich, from others is the emphasis on saving money. One of the fundamental obstacles for most people is that budgetary priority goes to spending. Saving gets only what's left over. For example, let's say you have a net household income of $5,000 per month. After paying necessary expenses and a few luxuries, you have $250 left to put into saving. That means only 5% of your net monthly income is going into savings, and in many households, even that amount is swallowed up by unexpected expenses. In others, the amount seems so insignificant, the saving efforts is abandoned entirely. The situation is very difficult among the rich, particularly among those who aspire to become wealthy. Financial planners may recommend saving and investing 10 or 15% of your income on a regular basis. The aspiring rich may save 30, 40, and even 50% or more of their income. There is no question that saving that amount of money can only be accomplished if you can successfully usually live well below your means. That arrangement is usually temporary. As saving and investment grow, so does the income they generate. Let's work an example using the same $5,000 monthly income. The only difference is this person saves and invests 50% of his income each month, which means $2,500, assuming an average annual return on a portfolio of stocks and bonds. This saver will accumulate over $1,276,000 in just 20 years. In other words, he will be a millionaire within 20 years, and that doesn't even reflect the fact that both his income and his saving and investment contribution may increase over the years. 4. Working all your life for someone else can lead to financial struggle. This isn't an attempt to demean anyone who spends their life working for someone else. Instead, it's to emphasize doing so holds the very real potential for a lifetime of financial struggle for most of people. The fundamental limiting factor with being an employee is that you are always trading time for money, and since you only have so much time to give to your employer, it creates an absolute limit to how much you can earn. But that's only the most obvious limit. At a more basic level, you'll always earn less than your effort produce. For example, though your work may generate $50 an hour in revenue to your employer, you may only earn $25 for each hour spent. It must be that way because your employer cannot afford to keep you on the payroll without making a profit on your work. There are also limits to how much an employer will pay for any position, regardless of the quality of your work. For example, let's say you work in an occupation where the pay range is between $50,000 and $75,000. Even if you are exceeding the best expectation of the job, you will probably never make more than $75,000. By contrast, if you made the decision to begin selling your skills either on a business-to-business basis or to the general public, you might find yourself easily earning $50 an hour, and as you grow in your skills and your capacity, they may gradually rise to $75 an hour, $100 an hour, and more. When you are self-employed, there is no ceiling on what you can earn. The more you can earn, the more you can save and invest to gain real wealth. Also, when you are self-employed, you are free to take your business in any direction. That means taking on more challenging and profitable business directions and even creating additional income streams. 5. Building wealth might take some big changes. These lessons from Robert Kiyosaki aren't meant to make you feel your situation is hopeless if you have been handling your finances the way the majority of people do. Rather, it's to give you an insight as to how rich people become rich that involves major behavioral changes. But if you can embrace them as part of your financial routine, the entire monetary dynamic in your life will change for the better. Even if you can save and invest 50% of your income, set a more reasonable goal. 20 or 30% will take you longer to reach your goal, but it will get you there eventually. The point is, if you want to improve your financial situation in a meaningful way, you will have to make more substantial changes in the way you see and handle money. The rich have already figured that out. You can become one of them by doing what they do. And here's some lessons from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. 1. Most people, their profession is their income, and they live through their work to survive. For rich people, assets and investments is their income. 2. If you want to buy something, you must first generate enough cash flow from your assets to cover the expenses. The emphasis is to buy luxuries last, not first. 3. Excess cash flow generated by your assets should be invested again to acquire more assets. 4. Do not simply aim for more income, aim for more valuable assets. Keep repeating the circle. 5. Reduce your expenses low and cut your liabilities. Expenses and liabilities beyond means are not good. 6. Create a corporation to protect your assets and reduce tax expenses. An employee earns, gets taxed, and then spends what is left. 7. Know a little about everything. Learn something about accounting, investing, markets, law, sales, marketing, leadership, writing, speaking, and communication. 8. Do not simply buy investments. First, learn how to invest, as no one else can do it better than you. 9. You become what you study, so choose your study material carefully, read a lot. 10. Every rich person has lost money at some point, but many poor people have never lost a dime. Playing not to lose money means you will never make money. Winning means being unafraid to lose. 11. Failure inspires winners and defeats losers. Do not be afraid of losing and be bold enough to admit and learn from your failure. 12. Be in control over your emotions. Do not let fear or opinion of anyone dictate your actions. 13. Surround yourself with winners. Sit with people who are smarter than you, and you can learn a lot by surrounding yourself in their company. 14. Dream big. Have a clear game plan in your mind. Always seek answers to important questions, such as why do you want to earn more passive income? 15. Develop a skill to listen. Listening is more important than talking. Do not constantly argue. Instead, listen and observe. Ask questions and try to gather as much knowledge as you can from others.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive all our news.
If you learned something new today, then give the video a like and tell us in comments which step you like it more. And here's some others great videos I think you will enjoy. Just click on the left or on the right.
Mass Pro, better mind, better life.